Hello, my name is John Rosebush. I'm the founder, the CEO, and the president of the Worldwide Development Corporation. The Worldwide Development Corporation was formed about 2 years ago. This happened after 12 years of intense research on generating energy from river flow. The new energy invention that I've invented has the capability to power this planet 15,000 times over. I put together a United Nations challenge that shows just the capabilities and the cost of this new energy invention. Most scientists don't even believe it, think it's impossible. We believe we can generate 100,000 terawatts of electricity around the world, cheaper than any other energy source, any other energy generation on the planet. 25% cheaper than any energy. And we also challenge 50% cheaper than wind or solar. This new energy invention has the capability to solve almost every issue facing mankind. The urgency of these issues are becoming intense, and if we don't change very soon, we're going to be in trouble. Today, India predicts that within 2 years, 650 million people will be without water, or at least water scarcity, severe water scarcity. China's rivers, according to the latest updates on the internet, are drying up all over. Both countries are facing severe water shortages, and much of their water they have today is polluted beyond human contact even. This is becoming urgent. Now you say, well, wait a minute now. You're talking about an energy source, and this is about water shortages. Well, by being able to create almost unlimited cheap energy, it will allow the world to desalinate. Desalination, the reason why it's not happening today around the world is because the cost of energy is too expensive. So once energy is cheap, desalination becomes a valid thing that we can do around the world. We believe we could turn the world into a water oasis. There's plenty of water around the world. The oceans. Fresh water only makes up about 2% of the water, and 1% of that is ice. So by being able to desalinate, we can replenish all the lakes, all the groundwater, and supply fresh water to people all around the world. So not only does this new energy invention solve the energy issues, it solves the pollution issues, it solves the water shortages, and it solves just about every single issue facing mankind today. You know, I continue to listen to our president want to build a wall along Mexico. I see other countries in Europe trying to nationalize everything. We need to do the opposite. We need to come together as a planet, as a world, as one family, and solve these issues together. Besides the social issues that are being argued political-wise around the world, we have serious issues about humanity's survival, even its survival. Now, we need to wake up. Now, I have asked for a major country or a group of small countries to partner with me. Why? Because they could act as an ambassador and help protect the patents on this new energy invention so the benefits go to the poor and rebuild a middle class around the world. That's also absolutely required. The inequities around the world are at the worst level they've ever been in the history of mankind. This is also not sustainable. So we have major issues. If it wasn't for that reason, I would have given this new energy invention to the world for free. It's needed so bad. The problem is that will still not create a healthy world. What have I run into? Corruption, greed. I have not had one country step up yet and join our partnership and to move forward. Now, India, I've been working with different groups of people within India to try to bring them into the partnership. Why? because India is facing the most severe problems of any country on the world today. It's not their fault. They're a very intelligent country. But the problem is, India has a huge population and a small land mass. So the problems are propping up there first. But don't kid yourself, China's right behind it, even with all their money and all their power. As we see water shortages appear in China. China's also going to different countries in Africa and different countries in Australia, or not different countries, just Australia, to try to feed their people, because they have so many people. But it's still not going to work, and China will be just like India in the not too distant future. These problems are then going to go on to other countries, which are already there in isolated areas in the different countries. Africa isn't far behind, and neither is South America. And then the Western democracies, they'll fall too. Because what we have is we're consuming our resources at an unprecedented level. Now this has become urgent. If you look on the internet, you'll find 650 million people in India are about to have major water shortages. So bad that people will begin to die in masses. In India, they're already committing suicide. The farmers are. They have no other alternative. So they're finding them in rivers. People in Africa, there was 130-some deaths recently reported, water shortages. Now this is going to continue to get worse. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. We need to really look at what's going on instead of arguing over these ridiculous social issues that I continue to see in our politics. You know, people talk about climate change like, oh boy, climate change is so serious. It is. But the problem is running out of resources makes climate change seem like nothing. We're going to start to see tens of millions of people die from water shortages alone and food shortages as climate change continues. Now, you say, well, gosh, that's the only issues. No, the Arctic and the Antarctica are melting at extreme levels. This is going to change the landscape of all our intercoastal cities around the world. The upheaval is going to be enormous. We're going to continue to see mass movement of people, and it's going to increase. This is urgent. That's another reason I'm creating this video, to talk about the urgency of what's going on. Now, you live your everyday lives here in America, and you think, well, there's problems, but it's going to be solved. Solar and wind are not solving these issues. They're intermittent energy. I've talked about them in many other previous videos. They're not solving these issues. The only reason I may have a chance to bring India in is because of their crisis, and they see that wind and solar is not solving the issues there. It's not benefiting them as much as what they thought, not even close. Don't kid yourself, China and Europe see the same thing. The European electrical system is in disarray all the time. Yet, because they've invested so much money into it, they don't talk about it. All they do is talk about a few good things, like they got electricity for one day. But really, in reality, they know, and I know, that solar and wind will never replace 24/7 energy. What is 24/7 energy? It's coal, natural gas, nuclear. Those are the things that generate 24/7 energy. Dams. This new energy invention is similar to a dam. It's 24/7 energy. Now, for a person that's never asked for a penny from anybody and put up a challenge that most scientists think are impossible, what do I really have to gain? Nothing. The idea is that I want this new energy invention to benefit and create a much more fair, sustainable, and balanced world for everybody. Now, you see companies come in and send me emails wanting to partner with me. Scientists from all over the world have connected with me on LinkedIn. I'm seeing lots of emails to me, etc. But you know what? I haven't had countries step up. I need a country. This is not about money. It's never been about money, and it still will never be. And I can't compromise on that. This is about the welfare of the human race. Now I'm going to continue on, but this is getting to be very old that I have these countries, especially a country like India or even China, be in denial of what I'm challenged the world to. I put out the United Nations Challenge. It's on my website, www.power.com. Explains clearly the United Nations Challenge. Now, the Worldwide Development Corporation it will stand behind that challenge. If we can't fulfill that challenge directly from the engineering and the prototype and other materials that are available to them, we will give up the rights to this new energy invention. That should say everything about our motivation and about our credibility. There should be no skepticism whatsoever when it comes to this new energy invention. What company would give up the rights to the new energy invention if it can't pass a challenge like it's posted out there? None. We continue to see deceptive articles about wind and solar. We continue to see countries in denial. We continue to see Europe talking about how great their wind and solar are doing in Europe, and yet if you actually talk to the experts there, they'll tell you no, it's way out of line. Matter of fact, there was an article not that long ago in Germany where they were building a new coal plant to keep the lights on. They can't shut down any of the old infrastructure because they can't count on wind and solar. It may not blow wind may not blow for a week. Sun may not shine for a week. Happens a lot in the winter. These things that they're attempting to solve are not working. Just today I saw Siemens is going to lay off 10 or 15,000 people in the energy sector or sell it off. Why? Because it's not making any money. People are getting smart about this. At least they should be. And if they're not, they need to do a little more research because it is not good. Now, I keep posting out there on the internet to bring these people in and these entities that I need. What are the entities I need? A large country. What are they for? To help protect the patents of this new energy invention. Siemens, hopefully, from Europe, but they don't have to be. They're not even one of the top 10 largest engineering companies in the world. We could have another engineering company, a large one. And a large international law firm. Why do I ask for a U.S. law firm? Because I want this to be global partners. Why did I ask for Siemens specifically? Because they are from Europe. So I thought United States, Europe, and possibly India would make international partners, and it would help around the world with communication, etc., with different countries around the world. Now, you think, well, gosh, I just said this new energy invention could solve almost every problem about sustainability. Actually, that's a lie. It could only solve half of it. The other half has to be recycling. We must set up recycling centers around the world to preserve that oil. Because oil is a limited resource, and we're going to run out of it. And once we run out of it, we're incapable of creating a modern society. This stuff is common sense. We have to create a modern society to support 7.6 billion people. Now, I say this in different formats and different speeches, but all this is the same. But the problem is the urgency. The urgency is speeding up. Climate change is accelerating. Water shortages are accelerating. Energy is not being produced by wind and solar. It's continuing to get worse at a very accelerated rate, and it will continue. Now, I don't know if I have to wait for a total catastrophe, like tens of millions of people dying from thirst in India or China, and other countries having severe water shortages, etc. We're even exploiting our ocean with overfishing. Now, I can continue to wait, which I will, until the world wakes up. Now, do we have to wait for some type of human catastrophe that is unimaginable? before you wake up? Or am I going to get a phone call, like I should have done a long time ago, from a country, or a group of countries, to bring us into the 21st century? This brings us into the 21st century. We must quit living in the 20th century. This must stop. You know, we talk about it needs money. We don't need money. All the technical work is done. And by the way, even with money, what? The dollar, 22 trillion in debt? It might as well be monopoly money. I'm hoping that somehow I get through to the people around the world through these videos. But if not, we will continue to wait until there's a complete human catastrophe and I get a phone call saying, hey, John, could you come show us this new energy invention? We're willing to partner with you. I've never asked for money, so that's all I'm waiting on. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll continue to make these videos to try to inform people. The urgency in this world is becoming worse and worse. And everybody knows it. My emails continue to grow from different leaders around the world. Now we need to bring this together. So I appreciate your time, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.